Tuan-tuan, puan-puan, peserta program SLID yang dihormati, majlis akan dimulakan tidak berapa lama lagi. Kita memohon kerjasama para hadirin sekalian agar dapat memastikan mikrofon tidak diaktifkan bagi mengelakkan sebarang gangguan dan majlis dapat berjalan dengan lancar. Terima kasih. Para hadirin yang dihormati, majlis diteruskan dengan sesi kedua. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraidah binti Abdul Manaf, Profesor Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman, yang dihormati Encik Muhammad Zulkarnain bin Abdul Karim, Ketua Pustakawan Universiti Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia selaku moderator program, barisan ketua-ketua pustakawan Universiti Awam, barisan timbalan-timbalan ketua pustakawan Universiti Awam, tuan-tuan, puan-puan, para peserta program yang dihormati. Program SLID sesi kedua akan diteruskan lagi dengan perkongsian oleh yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraidah binti Abdul Manaf. Untuk maklumat, program ini akan dikendalikan oleh Encik Muhammad Zulkarnain bin Abdul Karim selaku moderator program. Tanpa melengahkan masa, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Encik Muhammad Zulkarnain bin Abdul Karim bersama-sama yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraidah binti Abdul Manaf dengan perkongsian topik Bibliometrics and Research Impact Leadership. Dengan segala hormatnya, dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Terima kasih kepada pengurusi majlis Encik Saifuddin Salim, yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraidah bin Abdul Manaf, Profesor Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman, barisan ketua-ketua pustakawan Universiti Awam, barisan timbalan-timbalan ketua pustakawan Universiti Awam, tuan-tuan, puan-puan, para peserta program yang dihormati. Alhamdulillah dapat kita meneruskan majlis pada pagi ini, sesi kedua, di mana perkongsian ilmu bersama penceramah yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraidah bin Abdul Manaf dengan topik Bibliometrics and Research Impact Leadership. Sebelum itu, izinkan saya membaca profil penceramah dalam bahasa Inggeris. Profesor Dr. Zuraidah Abdul Manaf is currently a professor with University Tunku Abdul Rahman. Prior to joining the academia fraternity, she was a librarian with Malaysian Agricultural and Research Development Institute, MADI, for 10 years, 1989 to 1999. She then joined the Faculty Information Management, University Teluk Jemara in 1999. During her service, she held various academic administration posts, including coordinator, head of program, and deputy dean of academic. She also chaired and involved in various committees, including the chairman for the Information Science Standard Program, Jawatan Kuasa Program Standard Science Maklumat under the Malaysian Qualification Accreditation MQA Agency. She was seconded to Department of Higher Education as the Director of Citation Informatics Division, formerly known as Malaysian Citation Centre, Ministry of Higher Education from 2019-2020. During her 5-year service at the Department of Higher Education, she was actively involved and chaired various national and ASEAN level committee such as Setara, MAPIM, Big Data Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, e-Portfolio, Read at Uni, Konsortium Langganan Pekalan Data Elektronik, Education for the 4th IR, Malaysia Research Award, ASEAN Citation Index, and the list shall grow on. He finally decided to optional for early retirement after 31 years in the civil service. Her last position was Professor Information Management at Faculty of Information Management UiTM. Her area of interest encompasses a broad area involving bibliometrics, organization of information, digitization of cultural heritage information, preservation of digital cultural heritage information, and security risk management for digital resources. Without further ado, Prof, the platform is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cik Zul. Okay, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera pada semua peserta program Excel Lead siri ke-8 ya. So terlebih dahulu saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak penganjur khususnya Puan Zahara, Ketua Pustakawan UTHM for this invitation ya. She has been inviting me since July rasanya ya. And I kata lama lagi tu. Ya Julai ya. Okay, so Alhamdulillah ya dengan izin Allah pada hari yang dijanjikan ada rezeki untuk saya bertemu dengan sahabat-sahabat semua dalam sesi perkongsian ilmu ini. So semoga sesi ini dan sesi-sesi sebelum dan yang akan datang akan memberi manfaat kepada kita semua, khususnya para ketua pustakawan, timbalan ketua pustakawan dalam menghadapi cabaran dunia kepustakawanan yang saya rasa sangat mencabar ya. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, my presentation today entitled Bibliometrics and Research Impact Leadership. Okay. So why do I choose this topic? Because personally, I believe that libraries is a natural place for bibliometrics and research impact leadership. I think library should lead. Library should be the champion in this area. Because from my general observation, in some of the universities, be it public or private universities, the analytical part of bibliometrics is done by others in RMC division, quality division, and even in strategic division. Okay, and library just provide the data. As you know, we as the librarian, okay, we have the expertise across the research and scholarly communication life cycle. We also understand disciplinary differences and how this can impact bibliometrics. And the most important thing is that we have extensive knowledge with bibliographic data and tools. So to me, we are in the right capacity not only to provide data, but also to do the analytic part. Okay, so not just to provide data, we can do more than that. So I hope that within this 90 minutes knowledge sharing session, okay, you can have some insight on bibliometrics and research impact. Okay, so allow me to share my slides to start the presentation. Okay, nampak Cik Zul ya? Cik Zul?
Saya nampak.
Nampak ya?
Nampak,
okay.
Ya.
Okay, thank you. Okay. When we talk about scholarly publishing, okay, it is a unique and ever-evolving process with a long history. Okay, sorry ya sekejap. Saya kena diminta untuk stop video sebab line tak berapa ni ya dekat Yuta ni, so I stop my video. Okay, so the publishing of scholarly journal or scholarly output began in the 17th century and expanded greatly in the 19th century. Okay, on the 6th March 1665, the beginning of modern scientific scholarly journal and the practice of peer review. Okay, Henry Oldenburg, editor of Philosophical Transaction of the Royal Society, began the practice of sending submitted manuscripts to experts who could judge their quality before publication. Till today, peer review process is an important mechanism to determine the quality and authenticity of any scholarly publications, be it scholarly journals, books, or conference paper. And now, the scholarly communication way forward is to institutionalize an open peer review process. So whether Malaysia ready or not, okay, for open peer review process. Okay. Quoting Merton, 1973, he said, research is not complete until its findings are made known to scientific community. And no scientific research is complete without its formal dissemination, prominently in the form of journal publication. 1986, Price stated a research publication is characteristic of a modern notion and proportional to the nation's economic size. Scientific publications are indicators of knowledge productivity and essential characteristic of a developed nation. So it means that scholarly journal and scholarly output is one of the indicator used to measure a developed country. One of the methods that can be used, okay, I kata one of the methods, yeah, that can be used in measuring scholarly output and its impact is through bibliometrics method. Okay. And the term bibliometrics, okay, kalau kita ingat balik masa kita belajar dulu, coined by Alan Picard, 1969, denotes application of mathematics and statistical methods to books and other media of communication. And this bibliometrics has been practiced since 1920s, okay, and it grew significantly with the emergence of citation mapping tools, starting with the ISI Citation Index in 1960s. Okay, and now it is used as part of national research evaluation exercises in university ranking scheme and indeed within author online profiles. Okay, so you can use bibliometrics to provide evidence of the impact of research outputs, find new and emerging areas of research, identify potential research collaborators, or identify journals in which to publish. And this bibliometrics, it serves as a tool used by universities, funders, ranking organizations, and others to measure research outputs. Okay, its parameters and metrics are increasingly used as measures of research success. Okay, and most universities, they build benchmarking standard from bibliometric data to determine academic and research performance and achievement. Let's see several university ranking systems in the world. I'm sure that majority of us here are aware of these rankings. QS, U21, RU, Times Higher Education, etc., to name a few. Okay, and these world university rankings have become a significant part of the higher education landscape, both globally and locally. Such rankings now play a big role in shaping the opinion of current and potential students, parents, employers, and government about the quality of higher education institutions. Okay, so let's see what are the indicators of these rankings. Okay, this is QS ranking. The indicators are academic reputation 40%, employer reputation 10%, student to faculty ratio 20%, citation per faculty 20%, and international students and faculty 5%. THE, teaching 30%, research 30%, citations 30%, industry income 2.5%, and international outlook 7.5%. U21, 40% weightage from output, where it includes 10% total article produced by HLI, by faculty members 3%, citation 5%, and other output 22%. And the last one, ARU. Okay, include highly cited researcher 20% and research output 40%. Okay, looking at these four ranking system, okay, we can conclude that in any ranking system, weightage given to quality and quantity of research output, which is from the scholarly output produced, range between 20 to 40%, and each of the indicators are represented with citations. Okay, when we talk about library and bibliometric, okay, bibliometrics and research impact analysis, okay, is a growing area of library investment and service. Okay, not just in the provision of services to researchers, but also for the institutions, especially when we want to quantify research impact for a spectrum of internally and externally purposes, such as for strategic decision support, benchmarking, reputation analysis, support for funding requests, and to better understand institution research performance. Okay, thus, academic or research libraries need to adopt roles to support bibliometrics and research impact analysis, not only to provide the raw data, but we should enhance our role, enhance our capacity, enhance our competency so that we can do the analytical part. When talking about its use, okay, use of bibliometrics tools, it can be used for hiring or promotional purposes. Okay, so basically it is used to check researchers or research performance. Number two, allocate funding appropriately. Okay, why? Because from bibliometric analysis, the pattern will be very useful if your institution adopt outcome-based budget. Okay, so from there you can know which faculty that is should be given extra budget compared to the others based on their research performance. Number three, policy decisions. Bibliometric analysis can be used to determine the research way forward of the university or the nation. 4. Tracking emerging trends and find niche research areas. 5. Compare benchmarking impact of research with other institutions, especially for competitive advantage. 6. Finding collaborating partner institutions nationally, internationally, or within institutions. And finally, to track corporate or academic collaboration. Okay, so if you look at this usage of bibliometrics, it can be used for various purposes. Okay. But the most important thing when we talk about bibliometrics is to understand it. Okay, it is very important and crucial part in adopting bibliometrics is to understand it, especially its metrics. Okay, you must know how, where, and when you should use it. It is just like SPSS. Okay. In using SPSS, okay, you need to know when to use Chromba Alpha, when to use t-test, when to use regression, etc. Okay, because they are just a tools. In this kind of tools, when you input any data, run it, it will give you the result. But the question is whether the result is reliable or not. Okay, because if you use wrong metrics, it will give you wrong understanding about research performance. So please be reminded that citation databases, okay, only include publications within their collection, okay, within their collection, and their coverage differ by discipline or sub-discipline. Each citation tracking database offers different coverage of discipline by nature of the publications in their collection. Okay, for example, Scopus has 27 main subject category and WAS has more than 200 main classification. Okay, so you cannot combine between these two databases. Okay, therefore, you need to acknowledge the discipline. Specific effect of using citation tracking database on research outputs. And number two, use different metrics with different methodology to represent the same outcome. Okay, so I give example to measure impact. Okay, dia sama je. We want to measure impact, but in Scopus, they are using FWCI, Field Weighted Citation Impact. Okay, and in WAS, they are using CNCI. Okay, that is to measure impact. Kalau you nak measure journal quality, Scopus use site score. Okay, now dia dah ada kuartal dah. Okay, but WAS still use journal impact factor. Okay, so same outcome, but they are using different metrics. So you need to understand between these two. Yeah? And we talk about source of bibliometrics. Okay, this is the most important things in bibliometrics. Okay, and data sources of bibliometrics are bibliographies and bibliographic databases. Okay, large-scale analysis can only be based on bibliographic databases. Okay, walaupun ada issues to journal coverage and data processing policy of a certain citation databases, okay, such as Scopus or Web of Science, they have become the most generally accepted data source. Okay, if you can recall back, at one time, most of these ranking systems are using Web of Science data. Okay, but currently, most are using Scopus data. Okay, so they need to decide, yeah, which source of data that they are going to use. Okay, because they cannot mix these two. Okay, and recently, okay, it's not recently, I think dah more than 10 years ago, several countries have developed their own national citation index, okay, which are also used as data source to monitor or to look into performance of specific country research performance. Okay, citation databases, as I mentioned just now, widely used to collect and report research outputs using a series of bibliometrics measures. Okay, so understanding how these databases work and their limitation. Okay, not only how they work, but their limitations will support more effective use and accurate reporting of bibliometrics measures. Okay. So a citation databases not only track the metadata from the journals or articles, but it will also track the citations of the articles. So this is the difference between the normal bibliographic database and citation index database. Okay. In Malaysia, we have MyCite, which is considered as the National Citation Index platform developed and maintained by Citation and Infometric Division, and the scope is only for Malaysian journals. Okay, We also have regional, ASEAN Citation Index, and Scopus and Web of Science. Normally, these are the four citation index databases used in Malaysia. Okay. Basically, scholarly output, okay, need to be indexed in citation index databases to make it visible. Okay, we need to make our research, our scholarly output visible. Then only it will increase citations for individual researchers as well as the journal, and increases the opportunity for collaboration with other researchers from around the world. Okay, so the issue or the problem here is it is very challenging for researchers to get published in journals already listed in those citation databases. Okay, that is the only challenges. Even our Malaysian journals also having difficulty to be indexed at in Scopus or Web of Science. Okay, but by getting indexed in a citation index databases, the impact of scholarly works can be measured. Kalau tak boleh nak measure ya. By tracking the scholarly output through publication data. Okay, so when we say publication data, okay, from publication data, it can demonstrate publication activity, showing willingness to share research findings. It also can show authorship or collaboration patterns, okay, show evidence of working with other authors with various areas of research and institutional affiliations, citations, demonstrate knowledge transfer of research findings, citation patterns, demonstrate how original research is being used, by whom, in what area of research and where, grant acknowledgement, okay, networks show how original research is being used by other research groups and who is funding those projects, cross-disciplinary of research efforts, demonstrates sharing of expertise and efficient use of resources, research trends represented by journals and articles, illustrate changes in publication activity and possible evidence of cross-disciplinary efforts, and finally, from the publication data, it also demonstrates public engagement or activity noted for the work. Okay, so in order for you to get all this, you have to make sure that the scholarly output is indexed in a citation databases. Okay, however, there are some consideration needed when using bibliometrics. Okay, so it is not everything. Okay, you need to consider certain things when you use bibliometrics. The first one, I think I have been emphasizing it just now, is to understand how metrics were constructed, okay, before making an interpretation. This is important. Okay, librarian need to understand how those metrics were constructed. Number two, citation analysis should always be considered in conjunction with the views of scholarly peers. Okay, that's why most of these citation index database, they really make sure that their content already gone through this process. Okay, so citation analysis should always be considered in conjunction with the views of scholarly peers. Number three, citation behavior varies across discipline. Okay, tak boleh pukul sama rata je semua ya, lain bidang lain. Okay, so it is unwise to compare metrics across discipline. Tak boleh. Okay. Number four, always consider the context when applying metrics. Okay, you are looking for what? So you need to understand, apply, consider the context when applying metrics. Publication behavior and self-citation behavior differs across disciplines. Okay, and never use only one matrix to answer a question. For example, okay, for example, you want to determine the most prominent researcher in your university. Okay, you nak bagi award. So macam mana you nak determine who is the best researcher? Okay, so you cannot just look in terms of number of publication published. Okay, it is not enough. Okay, so you should also look at number of citation score for that particular authors and also its impact. Okay, maknanya tiga-tiga ni kena digunakan to determine the prominent researchers in your universities. Okay, some researchers number of publication might be not that high, but they have a very high citation score overall or very high field weighted citation impact. Okay, I'm going to show you on this later, sample data. Okay, and finally citation impact. FWCI or CNCI allow for differences in citation behavior across disciplines. Okay, you cannot expect arts and humanities researchers to have citation impact higher than the sciences researchers. Okay, so this is something that you have to bear in your mind. Okay, and now I would like to share with you some bibliometric measures, okay, its definition, use, and possible level of use. Okay, you need to understand this so that you can make the right analytic using the right metrics. The first one is publication count. Okay, when we talk about publication count, it is the total count of items identified as scholarly output. For example, journal articles, book, conference, proceeding, etc. And this publication count useful to assess outputs of an individual, discipline, or institution. But it is not useful to assess quality of the work. Okay, possible level of use, it can be used at individual, subject or discipline, or at institutional and also country level. Okay, the next one is citation count. Citation count is the total number of citations received to date. Okay, normally we give a certain period, 5 years window or 3 years window. Okay, by the publications of a researcher's department or institution. It is useful for measuring an element of impact. Okay, kalau yang tadi publication count tu useful untuk assessing output of an individual, but citation count useful to measure impact of a work or set of works. Okay, however, it is not useful for understanding context of the impact. Okay, kalau you tengok katakan field weighted citation impact 0.9 and the other one field weighted citation impact 1.58. Okay, so kita tak tahu whether it is positive or negative impacts. Why? Because in any bibliometrics, it does not show why. It cannot answer why. Okay, it just demonstrate the pattern only. Possible level of use, again, individual, subject, discipline, and institutional and also country level. The next one is normalized citation impact. Okay, It is actual citation impact, cite per paper, how many citation per paper, in comparison to expected citation impacts, okay, of subject area globally. Okay, dia tengok secara keseluruhan. Okay, and these measures is normalized for subject area, document type and also year. Okay, a value of 1.0. Okay, kadang-kadang kita tengok FWCI 1.0. That is the world average. Okay, it indicates that the work performs at the expected global average, and a value more than 1 indicates that the publication exceed the world average. So normally kita akan tengok our strength must be above world average. Okay, so useful for comparing between different subjects and sample, and not useful for small sets of publication. If your number of publication is too small, then it is not useful. It is not representative, as a single highly cited paper can easily skew the calculation through inflation. Okay, so you boleh tengok at individual, subject, institutional and also country level. The next one is H index. Okay, as a productivity measure. So what is H index? It is a productivity measure. An author's H index can be calculated by locating citation counts of all published papers and ranking them numerically by the number of times cited. Okay, so a researcher's H index will be the point where the number of citations most closely match the rank of the publication, or the point where all the papers ranked lower have an equal or less citation, number of citation. Okay, so useful for comparing researchers of similar career length. Okay, so I emphasize balik, similar career length. You cannot expect researchers who just join your university to have high H index compared to researcher yang dah lama kerja. Okay, so comparing, you want to compare, you have to compare researchers within similar career length. Okay, next, comparing researcher in similar field, subject, department, and who publish in the same journal categories. Okay, and H index also useful to obtain a focused snapshot of a researcher's performance. Okay, but not useful when you want to compare researchers from different fields, discipline or subject. Okay, and it is not useful to assess field, department, subject where researcher output is typically books or conference proceedings, as they are not well represented by databases providing H index. Okay, so especially in Scopus or Web of Science. Okay, possible level of use, a focused snapshot of an individual performance. Caution should be used when comparing between researcher. Ni yang saya dah terangkan tadi, in terms of career length, in terms of different fields and so on. Okay. The next one is journal impact ranking. Okay. Measures of this type use aggregate citation data of articles published in a journal to capture the journal's relative importance. Okay. Useful for identifying relative importance of a journal, but not useful for identifying relative importance of individual articles. Okay, so bila kata journal impact ranking, you should not use it untuk tengok at article levels. Okay, determining quality of individual journal article. Okay, the journal might be good, but the articles mungkin tak bagus. Okay, ataupun artikel tu bagus, jurnalnya mungkin tak bagus. Okay, so possible level of use, individual, discipline, and also institutional and country level. Okay, the next one is percentile. Selalu orang sebut percentile. So top percentile, okay, when we talk about percentile, it is top percentile. Okay, for example, 1% or 10% is typically a measure of the most cited documents. Okay, so yang ni dia bercakap tentang article level. Okay, in a subject areas, kalau atas tadi more on journal, but this one is on article. Okay, in a subject area, document types and year. For example, the top 10% reflects the top 10% most cited works in the above context. Okay, useful, only appropriate for large to medium-sized data set as a way to measure impact by the number of works located in the top 10%. Okay, not useful, significant caution should be used when assessing small data set. Possible level of use, subject, discipline, institutional. Okay, example, you want to see research funding application, peer review, and etc. Okay. So, we talked about how we can use certain metrics for certain purpose. Okay, so I'm going to share with you performance of Malaysia's scholarly output. Okay. Okay, so if you look at this figure, okay, there are 862 journals indexed in my journal repository. Okay, this one I nak minta tolong pada all the chief librarian, okay, to look into your journals university masing-masing, okay, because sometimes the journals might be indexed in my journal, but you are using my site punya logo. It is wrong. So these are the two different platforms that you need to understand. My journal is a repository. Okay, we accept all the scholarly journals after we have evaluate the basic criteria as a scholarly journal. So currently there are 862 journals in that repository, and number of articles is more than 100,000 number of articles. Okay, so every year lebih kurang 8 to 10,000 articles will be added to this database. Okay, but from 862 journals, only 312 listed in my site. Okay, so if you look between 862 and 312, it indicates that only 36% of Malaysian journal, okay, or journal published in Malaysia eligible to be listed in my site. Okay, 36% saja. Lagi 64% masih lagi bertatih, or they are in the process of building their quality. Okay, but if you look overall daripada tahun 2012, okay, the trend shows an increasing pattern. So kita nampak more and more Malaysian journal they have performed better, and they have produced a good quality journal. Okay, but still it is only 36%. Okay, this is status of Malaysian Scholarly Journal indexation. Okay, so kita ada 862 dalam my journal, okay, but only 312 in my site. In ACI, which is ASEAN Citation Index, 152. In Scopus, 101 journal. ESCI plus WAS, there are 77, and JCR, daripada WAS yang masuk JCR is only 13 title. Okay, this is the overall of Malaysian scholarly journals indexation, which this data captured by Citation and Infometric Division. Okay, so let's see our performance in Scopus. Okay, so currently we have 176,000 articles, okay, scholarly output by Malaysian institution, okay, with citation more than 1.4 million, and our field rated citation impact is already above world average. Just now I did mention FWCI, 1 is world average, and it shows in 2020 we have crossed about 3% from the world average. Okay, so if you look here, top 20 institutions in Malaysia ranked by number of publication, you can see University of Malaya, the top one, okay, with field rated citation impact 1.49, meaning that 49% above the world average. Okay, so the next yang highest field rated citation impact, although the number of publication is quite low, is Monash. Okay, 43% above the world average. Okay, so this is how we look at rank or performance of Malaysian scholarly output. Okay, so this one we rank according to number of scholarly output. Okay, but we can also see performance of the institution based on field weighted citation impact. Okay, and we are contributing 1.1% of the world's scholarly output based on Scopus data. Okay, top 7 subject areas ranked by number of publication is engineering, followed with computer science, material science, physics and astronomy, medicine, environmental science, and social science. Okay, but when we rank top 7 subject areas ranked by field weighted citation impact, okay, medicine is the top field. Okay, kalau tadi medicine duduk dekat sini. Okay, number of scholarly output is only 21,000 plus. Okay, citation 235 compared to engineering. Okay, but when they normalize it, okay, we can see that the highest field rated citation impact is in medicine. Okay, and when we look at citation per publications, so that's why I said you need to know, you nak tahu apa sebenarnya. Okay, if you look at citation per publication, top 7 subject areas ranked by citation per publication, this one go to energy. Okay, energy citation per publication 14.2. Okay, maknanya kalau satu paper on energy being published, average citation per publication is 14.2, followed with chemistry and so on. Okay. This is another trend that I want you to have a look.
Prof, so, sekejap Prof, yang tadi, graf tadi Prof, sekejap.
Okay, this one.
Okay, maknanya kalau universiti yang tak ada dalam senarai yang tu, adakah di bawah 0.5 ke apa Prof? Sebab yang ada sampai 0.76 tu kan.
Okay,
yang Malaysia Sarawak Unima.
Kita rank top 20 institutions.
Oh, okay, top 20.
Kita rank top 20 institutions by number of publication.
Private and public university kan Prof?
Kebanyakan kita ada. Kalau you tengok kat sini, kita ada Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman.
Ya, pun termasuk yang senarai.
Termasuk dalam top 20.
Ya,
and their field rated citation impact 8% above the world average.
Okay, okay. Maknanya public university lain tidak tersenarai lah dalam top 20 ni kan.
But you can have a look at your university if you interested. Katakan you nak tengok specific university, you can check.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Okay, this is overall Malaysia, yeah. So kalau you tengok data ni daripada 2006 until 2020 lah, 2021 So kita pun dah berakhir 2021. You can see this is it shows the increment of our publication. Okay, our number of scholarly output in Scopus. Okay, and we can also see that our field weighted citation impact for Malaysia is increasing. Okay, so it's quite surprised to see that in 2021, okay, walaupun number of publication dia not as high as 2020, but we already crossed the world average 22%. Okay, so meaning that although it is the number of publication is only 36, but dia dah reach to 1.22. Okay. And kalau you tengok, I buat juga comparison between 9 Malaysian plan, 10 Malaysian plan RMK and 11 Malaysian plan. We can see that this is the number. Okay, we can see we are doing good. Means that we are increasing in terms of impact and also in terms of quantity. Meaning that both quality and quantity dia hands in hands lah. Maknanya sama naik ya. Okay. This is Malaysia author. Okay. So of course kita ambil top 15 authors by number of publication. Okay. And sebelah sini adalah top 15 authors by number of citation. Okay, kalau you tengok kat sini, yang ni yang I kata tadi. It depends on, you cannot just use one matrix. For example, you want to award your apa ni, the most prominent researchers in your institution. So if you look here, you nampak macam AF Ismail ni is the top authors lah, yeah, with number of publication 564. Okay, but when we make comparison, okay, in terms of impact, okay, still high, above the world average, field weighted citation impact 1.64, but usually ni dia punya field weighted citation impact is 3.63. Okay, so this is how yang I maksudkan tadi. You cannot just use one matrix. Okay, even when we want to award our researcher with Malaysia Research Star Awards, there are few methodologies that we use to identify the recipient. Yeah? So bukan satu saja dimension, tapi kita tengok from few dimension. Okay, so this is just example. Yeah? Okay, so and you can see that this name yang inbox ni yang I letak ni, okay, their name did not appear dekat sini pun. Their name is not listed under the top 15 authors, but their names appear in top 15 authors by number of citations. Okay, so this is how we should look at data. Okay, and you must understand. Okay, yang mana patut diraikan. Okay. Collaboration, this is a very important data. Okay. If you want to advise your institutions, you should look at the collaboration data. Okay, I give you an example. Look at this one. Top 15 countries collaborating with Malaysia. Okay, we collaborate a lot with United Kingdom. Okay, with UK. From the period 2016 until 2020, our field weighted citation impact, okay lah, 2.85. Okay, means that memang above the world average, but if you collaborate with German, okay, with number of publication 2893, but the citation impact is 5.74. Okay, so this is how we look at data. Okay, if you want to make informed decision, which country that you should collaborate, okay, so from here, you should make decision that you should collaborate more with German, South Korea, Taiwan, because this they will, we can yield higher field-weighted citation impact. Okay, and in which area? Kita boleh tengok kalau UK maybe dalam engineering, China engineering, but with German is on physics. Okay, so this is how we read the data. So kalau kita tengok collaboration from 2016 until 2020, we can see it is increasing lah. Okay, so memang research has proven that one of the way for you to increase your citation is through international and industry collaboration. Kalau you collaborate national, bukan tak boleh, tapi dia punya impact tu is not as hebat as international collaboration. Okay. Okay. So this is the bubble chart. Yang ini nak menentukan direction of our research or our focus area. So of course this is for at national level, this is for Malaysia, but you can always do at your institutional level. Okay, so I buat untuk surprisingly when I do it for Utah, I can see that dia punya strength duduk dekat mana? Duduk dekat social science. Okay, so even their researcher, even the president pun does not aware about it until I show the data. Okay, so now kita pun tengah strategize how we can make our social science area more dominant lah. Yeah, because if you look at Malaysia punya ni, social science dia duduk dekat sini ya, duduk dekat this quadrant. But Utah punya social science duduk dekat this quadrant. Okay, and yang itu memang Utah sendiri doesn't aware, they did not aware about it. Okay, so kalau you tengok ni Malaysia, okay, so kita nampak kita punya medicine is the most ni lah ya, the most high impact field ya. Tadi pun kita dah tengok. The next one is psychology, and I believe in 2022 nanti ya, psychology ni dia akan jadi lebih high impact because it seems that these are the areas yang after the post COVID punya scenario lah. So I nampak kemungkinan akan ada trend on psychology ya. So earth and planetary, physics ada kat sini, chemistry. Okay, normally when we want to come up with strategic planning, we will strategize what are the areas that we have in this quadrant and what are the strategy to move the area to this area. Okay, so this is where we have to look into our competency, okay, our talent that we have and how we can mobilize them so that they can contribute towards ni lah, to move the area to this quadrant. Okay, so that's why tadi I kata when we talk about bibliometrics, it can be used in decision making process and also to determine policy. So this is the data that you should use to help your universities, okay, in their strategic planning so that they will be aligned with apa yang sepatutnya lah ya. Okay, so that is in Scopus. Okay, so in Web of Science lebih kurang sama. So of course numbernya tak banyak. We have only 136 publication in Web of Science, but our CNCI crossed the world average by 5%. Okay, so we can see the trend, and if you look here, okay, 37.5% of Malaysian document is in quartile 1. Okay, so I guess that's why we are getting a good citation from time to time. Okay. Okay, ini sama macam tadi. Okay, top 15 authors by number of documents and top 15 authors by number of citation. Kalau tadi kita tengok kat sini ada UTM, but now UM is the top dalam Web of Science. Okay, but again Abdullah ni dia ada dekat mana? Okay, number 4 dekat in terms of citation. Okay, so dia bukan sama dia punya ni, so dia mungkin dia tak, yang top 15 by number of document doesn't mean they are going to be top 15 by number of citation. Okay, so this is again the bubble chart. Okay, so in Web of Science we can see material science and multidisciplinary ni ya, yang paling high impact, and also number of publications dia juga quite high. Okay, so anything that you like to ask about the data before I proceed, because I dah habis dah ni. Anything anybody would like to ask?
Assalamualaikum Prof.
Yes.
Saya ingin bertanya, selalunya kalau dalam impact untuk setiap artikel itu kita lihat kepada citation. Tapi tadi Prof banyak kali sebut pasal field weighted citation.
Field weighted citation impact.
Ya, FWCI tadi tu kan. So saya wonder macam mana kita nak menerangkan kepada penyelidik kita ni, sebenarnya kita nampak yang itu yang lebih besar kalau kita lihat kepada keseluruhan tu, itu nampak yang lebih besar impactnya dari segi research lah. So macam mana kita nak bercerita kepada mereka ni supaya mereka faham. Terima kasih Prof.
Okay, so kalau you tengok, kalau you nak comparekan your researchers, okay, kalau you nak comparekan your researchers based on citation score, okay, berapa banyak dia dapat citation, okay, it will not be fair. Sebab your researchers dia orang punya background from various background. But when we say field weighted citation impact, dia dah normalized according to bidang. Okay, dia dah normalized according to bidang. You have two researchers, one in science, one in social science. Okay, yang dalam science mungkin dapat FWCI dia 1.1, yang dalam social science pun dia mungkin boleh dapat 1.1. Pasal dia dah normalize mengikut bidang. Tapi kalau you nak kira dari segi number of citation score, you akan nampak yang sciences ni dia lebih tinggi compared to social science researcher.
Okay, saya faham. Faham. Terima kasih Prof.
Okay, any more question?
Prof, ini sekarang sesi soal jawab Prof
Belum lagi, saya belum ni, tapi saya nak ni kan ni sebelum saya.
Okey. Satu soalan Prof.
Ya.
Boleh what's the differences between H-index and Scopus WAS dengan Google Scholar?
Oh, tu soalan popular tu cikgu. Okey, bila kita cakap tentang H-index, okey, tadi kita kata one of the important things in bibliometrics is about the data source. Daripada mana data tu diambil. Okay, so when we talk about H-index platform of Web of Science, Scopus or Google Scholar, okay, they have their unique strengths as well as their disadvantages. Okay, so I nak fokus kepada 3 main point saja ya. The first one, okay, in terms of its availability. Okay, in terms of its availability. Okay, kalau Web of Science, Scopus, you nak dapatkan H-index, you need to subscribe to the database. Okay, so that one is very clear, very general. Okay, but kalau Google Scholar, it is freely available to anyone with an internet connection. Okay, siapa-siapa boleh dapat. You create your profile and you boleh dapat. Okay, so kalau Web of Science and Scopus, only those yang subscribe to it, you can have access to it. Number 2, the comprehensiveness of citation coverage to measure H-index. Okay, comprehensiveness of citation coverage to measure H-index. Okay, so Scopus and WAS have distinguished and distinctive way of handling the collected publications. Okay, so of course, when we talk about Scopus, they have the advantages of higher citation measurement, due to the extent of its field coverage compared with WASP. So kalau you nak compare between H index authors in Scopus and H index authors, the same authors in WASP, okay, yang dalam Scopus akan lebih tinggi compared to WASP. Okay, why? Because the coverage. Okay. Meanwhile, Google Scholar pula has the advantages of providing more comprehensive citation. Okay. As it also covers materials not covered by WASP and Scopus. Okay. So kalau you tengok rata-rata researcher, they have high H index in Google Scholar but not in Scopus and Web of Science. Okay, why? Because Google Scholar, they capture books, conference paper, working paper, student thesis, blog, segala-galanya. Okay. Tapi WASP and Scopus, dia memang control. Control in terms of what are the materials that will be indexed in their database. Okay. And Google Scholar has the ability to automated tracking to harvest any citation found as it is not subject to any review. You tak tahu dari segi kualiti dia macam mana. Sebab tu most of university, they did not consider H index in Google Scholar. Okay? Yeah. Because Google Scholar normally provide higher citation counts for the authors, but the citation may be manipulated. Okay, author boleh manipulated because nobody will control it. Yang ketiga, dari segi authenticity of the citation sources. Okay, WASP claim that they are the only comprehensive database that provides citation counts, and the citation ni is originally from Science Citation Index and is governed under the jurisdiction of the ISI, Institute of Scientific Information. Scopus pula covers a broader overview of interdisciplinary scientific data across all research areas and is governed by an advisory board. Maknanya dua-dua ni dia ada dia punya board yang control the quality. Okay, kalau tadi ISI, but dalam Scopus dia gunakan Scopus Content Selection and Advisory Board, dia panggil CSAB. Okay, to ensure the high quality and authenticity of the articles yang dia ada lah. Okay, manakala kalau Google Scholar, it is a freely indexed publication. It has not declared any specific advisor or governing bodies to ensure the quality of its citation sources. So basically, whether kita nak terima ke Google Scholar ataupun tidak, it is based on these three things lah. Yeah. So again, it goes back to to university lah in terms of their policy dan sebagainya. Whether they want to accept H index Google Scholar or not. Ya, tapi kalau dari segi authenticity and also quality, of course, university will look for WASP and also Scopus H index.
Prof, berbalik kepada graf yang Prof tunjuk ni, series breakdown, ya. Okay. Apakah kedudukan education, Prof, dalam social sciences punya tu subjek? Adakah dia akan berkembang lagi, akan lebih banyak lagi impact masa akan datang? Education.
Education.
Yeah.
So, education kita tak tengok dekat web of science, kita tengok dekat Scopus ya.
Scopus, okay. Okay.
Okay. Where is education? So, I tak nampak.
Sama saya pun. Tapi dia memang included in social sciences lah kot kan, Prof?
Maybe dia duduk dalam social science. Pasal Scopus yang ini saya ambil 27 subjek area.
Okay.
Kita tak drill down ya. So maybe dia dalam social science. So apa pun kita nampak dia still duduk dekat this quadrant lah.
Oh, okay. Tak mencapai the first quadrant tu sekali dengan medicine dan sebagainya. Belum lagi ya?
Dia tak cross lagi the world average yet.
Okay. Below 1, ya, Prof.
Masih lagi below 1.
Below 1.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank
Jadi
you.
yang ini kita tengok overall positif.
Ya,
Kita tengok
saya.
overall as Malaysia. Tapi you can drill down untuk tengok just untuk UPSI.
Ya, okay.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Any more question before I conclude my presentation? Okay, so kita patah balik.
Prof. Prof. Assalamualaikum.
Yes, Dr. Sarah.
Arina ni, Arina dari USM, Arina Wati.
Okay.
Tadi pertanyaan Puan Siti Semarizan kaitan dengan education. Saya just nak tanya, kenapa Prof fokus kepada Scopus instead of Web of Science? Decision lah.
Oh, sebab Web of Science dia basically dia ada more than 200 subject and I tak nampak ni kita
Dia ada education and educational research kat situ.
Sekejap because I fikirkan Scopus dia ada lagi banyak apa ni coverage so okay. Education and educational research. So kalau kita tengok kat sini dia ada dekat sini
Yang ni dalam
dia above world average, pasal this is the world average yang dotted line ni. Tapi kita kena drill down lagi ni untuk tengok.
Sebab dia punya categorization of Web of Science dan Scopus pun berbeza Prof?
Berbeza, betul.
Ya, terima kasih.
Dalam Web of Science dia lagi kecil, dia pecah compared to WAS. WAS dia start dengan 27 je. Okay.
Dan Web of Science pun dia lebih fokus pada science and technology kan Prof kan?
Yes, itu yang
Scopus lebih broader.
Lebih broader.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, so points to ponder. Okay. Ada a few things when you talk about bibliometrics, okay? Ada a few things bila you nak gunakan, you kena fikir balik So bibliometrics is only an auxiliary tool. Okay? Guidelines explaining the use of its indicators and metrics are needed. Macam tadi ada soalan, macam mana kita nak bagi faham? You need to prepare the guidelines. Okay, so this is where the role of librarian to educate your researchers. Okay, because I tak heran benda ni because sometimes I pernah ditanya I've been asked, what is your impact factor? Ni dalam interview ni, top management tanya saya, what is your impact factor? By right dia sepatut tanya saya, what is your H index, not impact factor. Okay, because impact factor is not for author. So benda-benda macam inilah yang kita nak. And these are all orang lama profesor yang still matrix, pasal matrix dia banyak. So I think it is the role of librarian to educate your users about all these metrics so that dia tidak disalahgunakan pada masa dan keadaan yang sepatutnya. Okay, because bibliometrics is only an auxiliary tools and kalau you tengok the recent one ni, dia dah ada tambah lagi new metrics dan sebagainya. So as a librarians, you need to be updated with all this information. Okay, so guidelines explaining the use of indicators and metrics memang diperlukan. Okay, and you should have your user education punya module to educate your researchers about this. Itu satu Yang kedua, bibliometrics can be applied to research evaluation. Okay, you nak tengok impact, you nak tengok ni, but not to evaluate research result. Okay, ini dua benda yang berbeza Dia boleh tunjukkan impact, berapa banyak citation, berapa tinggi dia punya FWCI, but not to evaluate research result. Okay, it does not aim at replacing qualitative methods by quantitative approach. So bibliometrics ni kita kata quantitative approach lah. But you still need qualitative approach if you want to evaluate research result. So this is where peer review memainkan peranan. Okay, this is where some of the databases they have a set of criteria to select those articles yang memang dah go through the peer review process. Okay, because bibliometrics can be applied to research evaluation but not the research result. Okay, number 3. Bibliometrics is not designed to correct or even substitute peer review or evaluation by expert. Ini yang dia macam repetition daripada yang nombor 2 tadilah ya. Okay, but qualitative and quantitative methods in science studies should be complement each other. Okay, maknanya dua-dua. Okay, maknanya you tak boleh bergantung sepenuhnya kepada bibliometrics. You need to have another measures to look at performance, researchers, research and all that. Okay. So, I tengok dalam apa ni, atau cara petang ni ada Dr. Nur Hidawati akan talk about metrics. So, that is a very important indicator ya yang kita nak tengoklah. Okay. Keempat, be aware of the limited coverage of bibliometric data source. Yang ni pun tadi saya dah sentuh ya. So data sources from certain citation database offer only limited coverage of the scientific and scholarly literature. Okay, so ada institutions yang dicampurkan dua-dua. Okay, you cannot mix between Scopus and WAS because they are two different entity. Okay, even their methodology digunakan pun tak sama. Okay, kalau Scopus dia panggil artikel, kalau dalam WAS dia panggil documents. So you need to know between these two. So yang ni kena jaga-jaga, hati-hati because ada juga nampak cases yang dicampurkan dua-dua. Tak boleh, nanti dia akan jadi double counting and it doesn't reflect the real one. So you need to caveat kat situ data tu daripada mana yang you ambil. Okay, so this is based on Scopus data. This is based on Web of Science data. This is based on my site data. So kita kena emphasize on that because different database will give you different result. Okay. So beware of that Data sources from certain citation databases offer only limited coverage of scientific and scholarly literature. Okay. So international journals in sciences are typically well covered. Okay, tadi Puan Siti Sumaizan pun ada sebut, but coverage of national journals in the social sciences and humanities, conference proceedings and books are much more limited. Okay, so dia tak, kalau personally I rasa pun macam tak balance. I give you example, ada daripada UIA kat sini? Ada representative from UIA? Ada ya? Okay, if you know journal As-Sajarah, okay, As-Sajarah has been indexed in Web of Science lah, bukan dalam Scopus saja, been indexed in Web of Science for quite some time, tapi dia still tak ada impact factor. Kalau you cari dalam JCR tak jumpa. Okay, so I nampak dari segitulah dia tak balance between sciences and also social science. Number 5, we should acknowledge the importance of accurate data collection to obtain high quality bibliometric analysis. Okay, so yang ini pun sangat penting Poor data collection may result in bibliometric analysis that provide incorrect or misleading conclusions. So yang ni yang kita nak kena hati-hati So you just provide data to whoever and that people doing the analysis without knowing how you extract the data. Itu bahaya So sebab tu yang saya kata, if possible, the data memang duduk dalam library, you extract the data, librarian should be the one who do the analysis. Okay. Yang keenam, anticipate the effect of bibliometric analysis on scholarly communication. You kena anticipate. Okay, the use of bibliometrics in research management and research evaluation is likely to influence the behavior of researcher. Okay, dia akan influence the researchers punya behavior. Sama ada intended or unintended. Okay, so a strong reliance on bibliometrics. Maknanya kalau you terlalu bergantung, that is the only tools yang you gunakan untuk measure performance, ya, may have undesirable consequences. Okay, maknanya it will not be good lah, ya, because it will influence researcher behavior. So bila dia influence researcher behavior, this is where researchers will try to improve their citation statistic in questionable ways. Okay, so kita manusia, kita ada akal kita panjang, we can always beat the system. Okay, so yang ini yang kita takut. So that's why when you want to evaluate, not only based on bibliometric data, but you need to have another way of measurement lah, ya, sama ada qualitative part where you use the peer review to evaluate and so on. Okay, so ini 6 perkara yang you have to bear in your mind when you want to use bibliometrics. Okay, and my final remarks. Okay, ada soalan lagi sebelum saya conclude?
Assalamualaikum Prof. Narashiki ni, tadi acknowledgement yang point to ponder number 5 tu, in order to evaluate accurate data collection, so it needs also the librarian to understand how to use the bibliometric tools itself, kan?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Okay, so is there any, sebab saya rasa most of us dah lama belajar bibliometrik ni, mungkin not that expert lah. So is there a way we can learn and relearn ataupun reskilling our competency so that we can meet the new requirement of research, new requirement for the researchers and research analysis lah, supaya kita on the right track, not maksudnya bila kita do the analysis tu is accurate lah and reliable. So is there any peluang kita nak relearn balik bibliometrik ni sebagai salah satu tools yang kita kena tahulah?
Ya. Okay. So of course ni Puan Syikin, ya, memang we need to reskill, because I tengok not only dalam bidang ni tapi ada banyak lagi area yang I think the librarian, especially those yang dah lama tu, ya, we need to reskill back, ya. So I'm not so sure dekat mana untuk you dapatkan expert. Tapi I think dekat Malaysia ada a few yang can I think daripada UM pun nanti ada a few experts juga dalam bidang bibliometrics. And sebelum saya bersara hari tu, last April, I did sign MOU antara Elsevier dengan Fakulti Pengurusan Maklumat to set up what we call as Cyber Lab. Okay, so Cyber is another analytical tool, of course by Elsevier, maknanya dia gunakan data-data Scopus, and this Cyber Lab, we make such arrangement that Elsevier do some knowledge transfer to our final year students. Okay, so saya rasa kalau bisa ada keperluan, you can talk to faculty to look how they can expand the scope of the MOU, meaning that not only to train our final year student, our future librarian, but also to train or reskill the existing librarian. So I think yang tu maybe Majlis Ketua Pustakawan, you can have a discussion with faculty, talk to Dr. Madhe, because I dah hand over the project to him. Ya, maknanya the discussion untuk reskill our librarian back, because I think it is very important. Because there's no point you know about bibliometrics, your staff ni, but somebody else yang do the analytic part. Okay, which I know it happen in most of universities.
Prof, saya setuju dengan Pak Syikin tadi, Prof. Dalam topik pagi tadi dengan Profesor Syahril Syahir of TNC PI UTHM, dia banyak kali menyebut pasal bibliometrics, kemahiran untuk pustakawan tahu on bibliometric ni, Prof. Dan sebagai ketua pustakawan dan timbalan, terutama ketua pustakawan lah, mereka kan masuk jawatankuasa pengurusan universiti. Jadi mereka perlu lagi lah reskilling, pergi training lagi untuk bibliometrik ni supaya mereka boleh menjawab dalam mesyuarat JTPU tu, Prof. Saya nampak lebih kompeten dan lebih confident dalam inilah perkhidmatan perpustakaan tu. Terima kasih, Prof.
Betul. Saya nampak if you have a skill in bibliometrics, when you talk to your top management, you lebih confident tau because you talk based on data.
Betul.
Betul.
Macam I talk to Yuta, I kata now look, from the data that I harvest, it shows that social science is the area yang Yuta a very unique area, which kalau I tengok because ada banyak buat analitik untuk universiti lain, I tak nampak lagi social science tu duduk that quadrant.
Saya pun ingat UTAR tu lebih sains teknologi itu, Prof. Pertama kali tahu sebab bila Prof sebut more on social science tu.
And I dah drill down what area of research yang nampak diorang punya strength. So now kita punya strategic planning, because I involved dalam strategic planning dekat UTA ni, macam mana kita nak move forward for another 10 years, 23, 32, kita dah mula tengok area of research yang kita nak drive. Okay, so bila you cakap based on data ni, you confident tau.
Ya. Dalam Senate lagi tu, Prof, semua ketua pustakawan masuk.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Saya nak
Yes.
Okay, saya.
Siapa ya?
Cik Azman.
Cik Azman.
Allah, bos. Okay, bos.
Dia pengerusi sekarang ni, Prof. Pengerusi jawatankuasa ketua pustakawan.
I see. Okay, yes, bos. Cik Azman?
Hello, kalau kita cerita pasal bibliometrik ni, Prof. Okey, rasa saya dah lama dah kepentingan tu kita cakap untuk kepentingan pustakawan ataupun KP ataupun apa. Kalau saya nak cakap cerita kat sini pun saya pun kurang arif kat benda ni.
Okey.
Saya ada benda, alhamdulillah ada seorang staff tu boleh lah pakar lah juga dalam benda ni. Tapi kalau katakan dalam konteks ni kita bincang dalam future leader ni kan, KP ni kan. Rasa saya dalam konteks hari ni 2 jam kalau kita there's a lot of technical thing you talk to us lah, saya faham.
Yes.
Banyak technical ni, tapi kalau nak hadam benda tu dan nak memahami, rasa saya memang tak jadilah. Dia tak boleh nak duduk dekat dalam mesyuarat pengurusan tertinggi universiti, nak tiau ke, you nak masuk ke, tak boleh pergi. Saya berani cakap, dan saya berani cakap juga banyak benda kita dah bincang. Rasa saya zaman Prof dulu pun kita pernah bincang, tapi benda tak bergerak mana pun. Jadi saya rasa lah, saya minta lah rasa ni macam tadi Prof cakap, kita boleh bincang dengan fakulti, insyaAllah itu kita akan cuba lakukan lah. How you think that kalau kita nak memecahkan minda, sebab sekarang ni banyak yang conquer benda ni pun adalah di peringkat RMIC di pihak universiti masing-masing, betul tak?
Betul.
Dia pun evaluate pun kadang-kadang pensyarah yang buat ataupun siapa yang dilantik sebagai orang yang lead RMIC ni. Tapi tu macam you cakap tadi lah, the way that kita nak menilai data, formula untuk kita menilai data ataupun expertise yang ada kat luar tu pun saya memang tahu pun, memang pensyarah pun. Jadi kenapa benda ni sebelum ni tidak didevelop di peringkat pustakawan, saya tak tahu kenapa. Hanya mungkin certain universiti saja yang yang ke arah itulah. Untuk orang kata meletakkan perpustakaan tu di level yang bolehlah dihormati di peringkat universiti masing-masing apabila menceritakan tentang penilaian data tentang high impact journal whatsoever lah. Jadi dalam konteks ni Prof, saya nak tanya sebagai the next leaders, mungkin kita ni macam orang yang dah leader ni, kita fahamlah kita boleh menggerakkan benda ni. Tapi the next leader, saya berani cakap banyak universiti lain pun yang masih belum mahir ataupun belum berkeyakinan tinggi untuk meletakkan penilaian data-data penerbitan jurnal whatsoever universiti masing-masing ni ke tahap yang mana perpustakaan solid tahu benda tu. You tell me, kalau you boleh cakap dengan saya perpustakaan mana, even though, sorry, saya nak tanya, UiTM sampai to that extent tak? Saya nak tanya. Memandangkan UiTM kan dia dah ada fakulti kat situ. Adakah data bibliometrik ataupun data penerbitan UiTM ni dah sampai ke that level di peringkat perpustakaan UiTM sendiri?
Dekat library, I'm not sure because I tahu that yang buat data ni ada unique quality tu. Dekat faculty, I think kita baru bermula lah because I think kita coach a few lecturer ya untuk buat this analytic. So saya tahu dekat Kedah kita ada Cik Syah yang kita memang dia punya PhD dulu towards Bibliometrics tapi dia tak ada hands on punya ni, so kita ada buat coaching untuk dia, and a few projects I telah minta faculty to lead ya untuk come up with Bibliometrics punya ni. That is one way untuk ni lah. Tapi masalah dia Bibliometrics ni you nak kena selalu main tau dengan dia.
Ya tu saya faham. Tu sebab saya cakap tu, kalau benda ni ada, kalau benda ni memang bagi saya memang terlalu penting lah dalam keadaan sekarang yang mana kita mengejar ranking. Dalam mana sekarang ni benda-benda ni semua merupakan salah satu daripada penilaian di peringkat KPT sendiri. Itu sebabnya kalau benda ni penting, kita di peringkat perpustakaan ataupun JKBUA pun kita memikirkan supaya kena wujudlah satu SIG, satu kumpulan khas yang mana akan dileadkan oleh sesuatu universiti untuk dia orang ni akan berkongsi mana sebab because dia kena praktis. Kalau saya bagi seorang pun 1 tahun belum tentu lagi dia mahir pun.
Ya, betul.
Kita faham benda ni.
Dia memang kena ada proper coaching lah.
Jadi that's why saya cakap kalau benda ni ada mana-mana benchmark daripada universiti lain yang memang dah solid, kita mungkin akan mewujudkan satu SIG untuk benda ni diambil sebagai salah satu pada agenda JKBUA untuk kita ketengahkan dan untuk semua universiti berkongsi dalam satu platform yang sama lah. Itu pandangan saya sebab we are talking about future punya apa ni kan. So kena penyediaan future lah. Technical part ni dia akan berada dalam that group. Itu pandangan saya lah.
Yes. Thank you Cik Azman. Saya rasa that's why apa ni Cik Azman, sebelum saya bersara, saya nak tinggalkan sesuatu di fakulti. So apa yang saya tinggalkan adalah the cyber lab lah, because I believe that the future librarian ya, maknanya budak tahun akhir, because diorang baru lepas habis first module tau, last November, and I get a very good feedback because the knowledge being transferred directly by Elsevier. So dia memang train and dia certify budak-budak kita ni. Okay, so of course tak boleh nak buat ramai, kita selected the best one dalam 50 orang je. I kalau boleh nak the whole future librarian kita being trained untuk tengok lah. Actually cyber tu is just a tool. Tapi bila you dah tahu dia punya konsep, you dah tahu dia punya cara, it can be you nak gunakan WAS punya pun tak ada masalah. So that's why yang saya usahakan juga untuk faculty ada cyber lab, and of course scope MOU tu adalah to train the final year students. Tapi saya nampak kalau ada keperluan di kalangan pustakawan nak write on that platform cyber lab tu, saya boleh masih boleh bincanglah dengan Elsevier untuk dia expandkan dia punya MOU tu. Sebab that MOU is the first in the world. Okay, Elsevier tak pernah lagi ada any MOU to train the future information professional for this kind of ni lah. Ya, maknanya dia certify ya budak-budak kita tu after 3 modules ke dia akan keluarkan sijil untuk ni. So that is one yang saya rasa saya tinggalkan untuk faculty lah for our future librarian. So if you seriously feels that all the librarians need to be reskilled untuk ni, I can talk to Elsevier and see how we can make this thing happen lah. Maybe bukan MOU dengan tu, maybe MOU dengan other university untuk fokus kepada librarian pula. Boleh macam tu?
Betul tu, Prof.
Boleh sangat, Prof.
Sangat bagus.
Itulah. So kita boleh bincang. Yes.
Okey, itu satu perkara lah kalau kita maksud bila macam tu kita akan deal dengan mana-mana vendor macam tu lah. Satu perkara lagi saya rasa yang kita amalkan dan ada juga yang dah buat sekarang, maksud kita bertukar-tukar bertukar-tukar ilmu yang ada kan, knowledge transfer. Sebab ada sebahagian kita punya librarian yang ada di library lain, dia ada kemahiran dan boleh dikongsikan dengan mana-mana library yang dia ada. Macam yang ada yang kita buat hari tu, kita nampak ada librarian di Unimas yang ada kemahiran tentang bibliometrik ni, kami panggil, kita jemput untuk buat online punya session untuk terangkan. Jadi mungkin session yang macam tu boleh dibuat lagi. Dan untuk sesi macam pagi ni pun topik ni kita pilih untuk jadi salah satu modul untuk dalam kursus ni, supaya semua leaders dekat perpustakaan UA ni aware bahawa ini adalah satu trend yang baru. Dan lepas ni memang kita expect supaya leader di setiap UA ni akan geraklah untuk menggerakkan anak buah masing-masing di universiti masing. Jadi saya rasa kalau memang of course kita tak akan dapat dalam satu hari ni kursus ni lah. Even kalau kita SM punya training tu berapa bulan kan baru untuk dapat satu topik. Jadi saya fikir memang ini untuk awareness bahawa ini penting, dan lepas tu mungkin kita pun ada SIG dan boleh buat kerjasama lah juga dengan FPM dan dengan kerjasama semua universiti. Kita tak boleh work in silo lah macam tu.
Memang tak boleh, memang tak boleh. So memang this thing you kena strategize lah. Saya dah cuba untuk the future librarian, tapi for the existing librarian kita boleh ni lah.
Dan dia tak mudah juga, memang tak mudah juga. One thing sebab kita ada tugas hakiki yang mungkin kadang dah melekat dengan kita kan. Tiba-tiba nak bagi ilmu baru kepada yang nak faham. Macam tadi kita tengok macam-macam graf tu pun, nak mata tu nak tengok pun dah semacam. Jadi bukan orang kata nak kena bagi proses juga kepada kita punya staff yang ada di perpustakaan untuk nak berubah. Ini tugas dulu, ini tugas kita dah kena move kepada yang lain tu. Pada saya tak mudah jugalah untuk semua KP, DKP untuk mengajak anak buah masing-masing. Ini yang baru yang kita nak ubah, nak bagi kerja baru.
Tapi itulah, I think in any organisation changes tu is not easy. Okay, kalau you nak impose on changes, okay, you need to have a very strong justification, and you kena confident, you sendiri kena confident to impose changes tu.
True.
And once you nak impose dia dah berjalan sikit, you kena freeze kan tu. Whatever orang kata, you kena freeze changes tu sampailah dia boleh jadi budaya. If not, dia selama-lamanya dia akan balik kepada asal kan. So dalam teori ni organizational punya change memang macam tu. You kena freeze kan dia. Kan, kalau tak freeze tak boleh.
Change management, Prof.
Change management memang you kena freeze. You baca mana-mana teori, memang resistance very high.
True.
I'm facing that now, tapi slowly kalau 30% je yang dah terima pun that is good enough.
Ada beberapa orang yang anchor lah dekat dalam kita punya perpustakaan tu.
So I think insyaAllah, I think kalau you yakin benda tu is something benefit to your university, benefit to the country, why not? Kan? So yes.
Mazmin Prof daripada UNIMED. Thank you for your presentation tentang Bibliometrics. Saya nak bagi pandangan KP dalam hal-hal ini. Saya tengok banyak metrik penelitian yang digunakan.
Tak dengar apa Mazmin?
Dengar apa Mazmin?
Tahu dengar tak?
Okey, dengar. Okey. Please.
Saya dapati banyak metrik penerbitan lah di dalam various rankings, exercise kan. THE guna certain metrics macam Prof mention tadi. Dan saya rasa KP, Ketua Pusakawan at least kena tahu what kind of metrics being used by QS, for example, for WR or agency ranking, sometimes a bit different kan antara ranking ni. So saya rasa mungkin technical macam Puan Nazah sebut tu, kita nak kira nak apa tu mungkin kita tak orang kata tak well versed, tetapi pengurusan kita biasanya akan tanya contohnya normalize citation impact. Why berbeza daripada citation numbers yang ada di dalam Scopus contohnya. So I think in that manner pada saya Ketua-Ketua Pustakawan kita kena challenge ourselves to understand further. Sebab isu on level begitu memang kita kena advise. Tetapi saya juga setuju bahawa di faculty mereka ada key people to do analytics, because sekarang ni dengan API dan plugins yang ada pada Scopus dan Insights contohnya, boleh dioptimize. But basic knowledge tu pada saya kita kena acquire, and kita boleh share lah dengan pengurusan kita kenapa why FWCI, kenapa NWCI for example. Itu pandangan saya, Prof. But thank you for your session, very insightful. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
So, I rasa betul lah. Nanti I tak conclude lagi.
Okay. Prof, nanti Prof dapat conclude dan memberi kesimpulan sikit lah daripada topik pada pagi ini. Okay, thank you, Prof. Teruskan. Terima kasih.
Okay ya. So this is, kalau tak conclude dia macam tak sadaqallahul azim kan. So kena conclude. Okay. Okay. So this is my final remarks ya. Ada dua perkara that I would like to emphasize. One, kita kena faham, Bibliometrics offer a useful approach for measuring some aspects. I kata some aspect of research output. However, it cannot reliably be used as a single indicator to reflect the breadth and depth of an academic research program. Okay, so yang ni you kena ingat selalu ya, jangan bergantung sangat dengan bibliometrics saja ya. So peers review or other expert review could be used to assess research output. Okay, and number two, for librarian with bibliometric competency, it will enable them to play a more strategic role in the organisation. Ini yang kita selalu cakap, macam mana kita nak meneruskan kelangsungan kita dalam sesebuah organisasi kan. So I can see that with bibliometric competency is one of the way lah yang kita boleh nak tonjolkan. We add quantitative color to our stories of contribution and achievement. Okay, so saya rasa itu sahaja daripada saya. Dan tadi Cik Zul ya, dia suruh saya rap ya. So saya nak rapkan, saya nak ucapkan terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Excel and congratulations for having this program. Okay. So saya rasa seperti mana yang saya katakan tadi ya, setiap negara memang ada membangunkan sumber data masing-masing. Okay, sebagai salah satu usaha untuk memperkasa dan meningkatkan visibility maklumat ilmiah masing-masing. Kalau kita tengok Indonesia, they are very proud with their Sinta. Thailand, they are very proud with their Thai Citation Index. Sama juga dengan negara-negara lain. And in Malaysia, we have MySite, governed by Bahagian Citasi dan Infometrik JPT. Ya, dan saya ingin mengambil kesempatan ini juga ya, saya walaupun orang yang tak ada dalam sesi ini ya, saya nak merakamkan penghargaan kepada usaha yang dicetuskan oleh Prof. Dr. Zainab Awangah and her team ya, kerana mencetuskan pembangunan pusat citasi pada tahun 2010 dan dilancarkan pada 2011 ya. Saya rasa beliau telah berjaya meyakinkan negara ya, because penubuhan pusat citasi di-announce semasa bajet tahun 2011 ya, meyakinkan negara tentang keperluan penubuhan pusat ini bagi membolehkan maklumat ilmiah negara terpelihara dan tersebar luas di pusat global. It is a very significant contribution to the nation, especially untuk our scholars lah ya. Okay. Dan kalau you ingat, if IFLA, okay, IFLA came out with universal bibliographic control concept in 1970s. Okay, I think Prof. Dr. Zainab telah merealisasikan dengan penubuhan pusat citasi ya. Sebab tu sampai hari ini ya, sampai saat ini bila saya cakap pasal pusat citasi, I still have that soft spot ya, because I rasa this is the contribution that bidang kita serahkan kepada negara, it's a very big contribution. Walaupun orang tak nampak, but I think it is very significant ya. So saya dah tinggalkan pusat sitasi more than 2 years, tapi saya still as I mentioned, I have soft spot dengan pusat sitasi ya. BSI sedang dalam usaha untuk menaiktarafkan sistem MySite supaya lebih mantap dan lebih efisien terutama dalam penganalisaan bibliometrik. The current system is very limited. Memang dia kena enhance lagi ya. Dan harapan saya agar usaha yang telah dicetuskan oleh mereka ya, Prof Zainal and the group yang berlatar belakangkan bidang sains maklumat dan keperpustakawanan pada tahun 2010-2011 ini akan dapat diteruskan oleh generasi sekarang dan juga generasi akan datang supaya maklumat ilmiah negara akan terus dimertabat dan diraikan. Okay, so Cik Zul, saya rasa that is my sadaqallahul azim. So saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang mendengar dan saya minta maaf sekiranya ada sebarang kekurangan dan sebagainya. Okay, so diharap kita akan berjumpa lagi di lain kali.
Okay. Terima kasih Prof. Selesai sisi 2 kita ya bersama yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraida Bibliometrics dengan topik Bibliometrics dan Research Impact Leadership. Okay, kita dapat berbagai maklumat ya seperti kita buat analisa terhadap bibliometrics ya. Dapat dirumuskan di sini ya, the librarian should be the champion lah for the analytical biometric of part of our core competencies ya. Dan juga maklumat-maklumat ini penting ya. Kita pelajari ya dan kita persembahkan kepada manajemen universiti masing-masing ya. Terima kasih kepada Prof ya. Mas Zuraida sekali lagi ya, saya bagi semua ya, Ketua Pustakawan, Timbalan Ketua Pustakawan ya, dan juga Universiti Excelib ya, dan juga Puan Zahara ya, Puan Zahara Bersamad ya, pengerusi Excelib ya, yang tidak dapat bersama pada pagi ini ya, dan terima kasih saya ucapkan. Terima kasih kepada sekali lagi kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraida Bibliometrics atas perkongsian. Semoga perkongsian ini bermanfaat kepada kita semua. Saya serahkan majlis seterusnya kepada pengerusi majlis. Alhamdulillah.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Zuraida binti Abdul Manap atas perkongsian sebentar tadi. Majlis juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada moderator Encik Muhammad Zulkarnain bin Abdul Karim. Para hadirin yang dihormati, bagi meraihkan majlis sebagai tanda kenang-kenangan, para hadirin diminta aktifkan kamera masing-masing untuk sesi bergambar. 1, 2, 3. Okey, boleh tunjukkan thumbs up. 3, 2, 1. Baik. Ucapan terima kasih atas kerjasama yang diberikan. Alhamdulillah, jam menunjukkan waktu 12.45 tengah hari dan kita akan berhenti seketika bagi sesi rehat minda. Majlis akan bermula pada jam 2 petang dengan perkongsian sesi yang ketiga. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih. Thank you so much.
Terima kasih Prof.
Okay,
Terima
bye.
kasih. Terima kasih.
Jumpa lagi.
Jumpa lagi insyaAllah. Bye.
Bye.
Jumpa. Bye. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thanks, Cik Zul. Bye.
Okay, bye. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Prof.
Terima kasih,
Terima kasih
Prof.
Prof.